You're responsible for everything, but empowered to change almost nothing. I was walking out of a school recently when a deputy leader caught me in the hallway. She looked tired, not the kind of tired that comes from workload, the kind of tired that comes from carrying the weight of leadership without the tools to move anything forward. And she said, "I've got the title, the accountability, the inbox full of expectations, but I don't feel like I can actually lead." And that stuck with me because she's not alone. So many leaders I meet are being asked to steer the ship while someone else controls the wheel, the wind, and the map. I call it shackled authority. Outwardly, you're in charge, but inwardly, you're working around invisible boundaries. You're responsible for staff well-being, but you can't adjust workload. You're expected to lead innovation, but every idea gets second-guessed. You're held to outcomes, but disempowered to change inputs. Here's what I've learned from working alongside leaders in this space. Leadership without leverage doesn't just frustrate people, it fractures them. Let's look at 3 truths I've seen play out again and again, and what it takes to lead with clarity when control is out of reach. The first truth is that accountability without autonomy creates quiet collapse. A principal I worked with was doing everything right. On paper, compliance was perfect. Staff were performing. Privately, she was questioning whether she could keep going. She said, "I feel like I'm babysitting a system, not leading a school." And she wasn't struggling with capacity. She was struggling with erosion of agency, erosion of vision, erosion of belief that her leadership could actually shape outcomes. Psychologists call this role conflict, where the expectations far exceed the actual control you have to meet them. It's one of the most reliable predictors of burnout. People don't leave leadership because it's hard. They leave it because it's become hollow for them. And when the space to lead disappears, many leaders don't leave the system, they just stop showing up as themselves. The second truth is that shackled authority leads to performance leadership. I met a deputy who had been praised for being dynamic, visionary, and driven. But in coaching, he said, "I've learned to look like I'm leading, even when I'm just following instructions." And that's what shackled authority creates: performance initiatives, strategy with no teeth, passion projects stuck in approval loops. It's not laziness, it's learned helplessness. When your bold ideas get diluted long enough, you start giving people what they expect, not what they need. I've seen this in school after school. Leaders stop pushing, not because they don't care, but because they're tired of being blocked. And when leadership becomes a performance, culture starts to perform too. So what do we do when we can't push against the system from the top? That leads me to truth 3. Influence is built from clarity, not control. One school leader I worked with made a quiet decision: stop fighting for permission and start leading from presence. She focused on what she could control, checking in with her team constantly, celebrating progress that aligned with shared values, giving teachers space to innovate within their own scope, even if the system wasn't ready. And the result? Staff confidence rose, innovation returned, the school's energy changed without any policy shift. Leadership isn't always about authority, it's about anchoring people in purpose when the system won't. Your greatest leverage might not be system-level change, it might be your clarity, consistency, and the trustworthiness inside the chaos. If you feel like you're leading inside invisible constraints, like you're carrying a title with no tools, you're not failing. You're operating in a system that gives responsibility without empowerment. But here's the shift. You don't need to wait to lead freely. You just need to stop confusing permission with purpose. Culture is built in the space you can reach, the team you shape, the rituals you hold, the clarity you bring. Even when the system won't move, your leadership still matters. And it might be the one unshackled thing your school needs right now. And this is exactly what we unpack in the Professional Wellness Workshop, a free space I've created for school leaders navigating pressure, policy, and invisible boundaries with humanity and intention. And when you register, I'll send you an advanced copy of my new book, Culture of Excellence: The Path to Empowered Teaching, Inspired Learning, and Intentional Leadership. Now, I'd love to hear, what's one decision you should be empowered to make but aren't? Drop it in the comments, like this if it landed, and follow for more clarity-first leadership thinking. And most importantly, share it with a colleague who's carrying a title but no tools. I'll see you in the workshop.